Hi, welcome back to my views and news. Some news stories from Ethiopia and Eritrea. Firstly, meetings have been held in Washington, D.C. between an Amhara diaspora organization representatives and U.S. government officials. Mike Hammer was there to U.S. Congressmen, senators are being approached by those Amhara activists who are lobbying in support of Fano fighters. Secondly, another news from the US, where though peace deal has been signed in Ethiopia, but diaspora is still split. We saw that last year in 2021-2022. Tigrayan diaspora and non-Tigrayan Amhara diaspora protested, separate protests against each other. Both accused each other of working against Ethiopia. While peace deal has been signed in Ethiopia and Ethiopian warring parties sat at the table, splits continue in diaspora. I have a story about Hermela Aregawi, who was one of the main faces of No More movement. She was appointed to a position a few days ago, but then Tigrayan diaspora community started a campaign for her removal. Thirdly, Eritrean diaspora community is continuing its protests in front of Israeli embassies. More than 2 weeks ago, in Tel Aviv, Israel, dozens of Eritreans were injured in clashes between pro-Eritrean government and opposition groups in Tel Aviv. Since then, we have been seeing protests in front of Israeli embassies across the world. What is the reason? Why is that Brigade Niham, the members are protesting in front of Israeli embassies? And lastly, are Abdul Fattah al-Burhan and Hamdan Dagalo going to meet? Efforts are underway for a face-to-face meeting between these two leaders. Firstly, viewers, Amhara diaspora organizations are lobbying to influence US government regarding US government's foreign policy about Ethiopia, especially about the conflict in the Amhara region. We have seen in the past 2 to 3 months that US has changed its position. Last year, US was declaring that Amhara groups were involved in human rights abuses, but this year US wants Ethiopian government to talk to groups in the Amhara region. And we saw that Amhara diaspora organizations started lobbying in the US. Several organizations are working in the US. Some members of diaspora Amhara organization they have held a meeting with US government officials. Mike Hammer was there too, US Special Envoy to the Horn of Africa. Teodoro Stirfe of Amhara Association of America, AAA, briefed the members of the Congress and Senate. Miaza Mohammed was there, two Ethiopian journalists. And these Amhara diaspora community representatives are trying to convince US government that genocide of Amharas is being committed in Ethiopia, that PM Abiy must be removed, that until and unless PM Abiy is removed, country cannot make progress towards peace and prosperity. There are several Amhara diaspora organizations working in the US, Canada, Europe too. What is the motive? What drives them to work? Their love for Amhara people or money? It's difficult to say, but these organizations are heavily funded. But if US is asking Ethiopian government to talk to Fano, talk to groups in the Amhara region, it is not because of the lobbying work done by these organizations. It is due to what Fano fighters did. They lost their lives. Yes, they took lives too. They killed people. They made the entire Amhara region paralyzed. So that is what made US government to change its position. But diaspora organizations, they want to take credit as if they are the ones which are influencing decision making of US government. No. What is happening on the ground in the Amhara region is influencing US government to tell Ethiopian PM Abiy that the conflict in Amhara can only be resolved through dialogue, not through military means. There are different organizations, some of them are not on good terms. They have internal bilateral issues too. Another news story from the US. In 2021, we saw a big Ethiopian diaspora movement called No More movement. Back then, Ethiopian government backed this movement. Yemen Zaleke, Hermela Aregawi, Andergecho Sege, and several others. They rallied in the US, in Europe too, and they accused US of supporting TPLF. Back then, non-Tigrayan diaspora overwhelmingly supported No More movement. Hermela Aregawi visited Ethiopia. She was warmly welcomed in Addis Ababa, Ethiopian capital. And that movement led to pressure upon US government. We saw that. Later, Ethiopia-US relations improved, and No More movement was just disbanded. But Hermela worked proactively for No More movement. Tigrayans obviously accused her that she was a traitor. She was working against the interests of Tigray people. Hermela has been appointed as head of communications for a US Congresswoman, Maxine Waters. And since her appointment, we are seeing a campaign for her removal. Tigrayan diaspora community living in the US has been mobilized. Letters have been written to the US Congresswoman Maxine Waters. Now, it is being claimed that Hermela has been removed from her position as Director of Communications for the US Congresswoman. But no official confirmation is awaited, but it shows that though in Ethiopia, warring parties are holding discussions, Getachew meeting with Abiy, Jula meeting with Varade, but diaspora still split. And why do they want to continue this split? Why can't they reconcile? How long will Tigrayan diaspora community keep on opposing Hermela Aregawi? If Jula and Varade, if Sadkan and military leaders can reach an agreement and can talk and sit at the table, why can't diaspora community members do that? Thirdly, another protest by Eritrean opposition groups, Brigade Hamda members in front of an Israeli embassy. The protest was held in Stockholm, Sweden, in front of Israeli embassy by Brigade Hamda members. More than 3 weeks ago, there was a collision, fighting between Eritrean pro-democracy and pro-Eritrean government groups in Tel Aviv, Israel. Dozens were injured, more than 100 were injured in that incident, and after that we saw that Israeli government arrested dozens on both sides and started a trial for deportation and for punishing those who were involved in that escalation. Since then, we have been seeing protests by Brigade Nehamdo members, they have carried out several protests so far in Europe in front of Israeli embassies. They want Israel to take action against Eritrean embassy in Israel. And they want that no action is taken against Brigade Nehamdo members who are involved in the incident in Tel Aviv more than 3 weeks ago. A trial of those who were arrested, who were charged for violence in Tel Aviv is underway. Eritrean embassy in Israel has hired a lawyer. It is supporting Eritrean government, pro-Eritrean government community in Tel Aviv, Israel. Brigade Nehamdo members are organized too. They're protesting in front of Israeli embassies across the world. I have a clip for you from Stockholm, Sweden, of the protest. Before that, Sudan, where it seems that efforts are underway for a meeting, direct meeting between Al-Burhan, Abdul Fattah al-Burhan, Sudanese Army Chief, and Hamdan Dagalo, Rapid Support Force Commander. Where will this meeting be held, if it is held? In Jeddah, in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia reportedly, it has overseen some sessions of negotiation between the two sides since the start of war in Sudan. Several rounds of talks held under the auspices of Saudi Arabia and US in Jeddah. Talks did not succeed. Now, Saudi Arabia wants direct meeting between Al-Burhan and Hamdan Dagalo. Reportedly, a message has been conveyed to Hamati from Saudi Arabia for this meeting. Hamati has agreed. Burhan is more than ready to hold a meeting because military, under pressure, military is planning to establish a government outside Khartoum in eastern, northern, southern parts of Sudan. Let's see, can this meeting lead to any solution, any ceasefire? That remains to be seen. No official confirmation from Rapid Support Force Saudi Arabia or Al-Burhan about this meeting, but reportedly, according to diplomatic sources, efforts are underway for the first direct meeting between Hamdan Dagalo and Abdul Fattah al-Burhan in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. What is the clip from Stockholm, Sweden, showing Eritrean Brigade Nehamdo members protesting in front of Israeli embassy? Thank you for watching.
كزما ستوكهولم أب أفدق إمباسينا إسرائيل لو على من إسيو إذا كل من إسيزي لومي أبسل في وعيل اللور أيوة لذي مثلنا لما عنتي نبرنا سلامة وسلفي أجيب طعمي زحب سلامة وسلفي نيرو إذا ما نسينا شودن ريوض اللهم برقيدنا حمدو لما عنتي ما نسيت يهود اللهم يعني أربعة يسدخون ما نسيت ماتيو هذا سلامة والسلفي عوز غنا سلامة والسلفي كما بإسرائيل قالوا حواتنا معهم دقات من الكبار على أفضل إمباسي إسرائيل لو على من أساء يشغل في يهود اللهم هذا الشيء عبيد الإنسان